It's the Wait a Minute Show.
Bruh. Ain't that right, Lil Pan? Wait a minute. Book it. Really? Really?
The Wait a Minute Show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is your man, Jelani J.B. Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show. And I got another episode for you that we're going to talk about, and I'm not going to waste any time at all. We're going to talk about these conference finals, Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. I haven't been on here to give my opinion on the Ja situation, so I'm going to be touching base on that. NBA lottery went down as well, and we'll talk a little NFL at the end, but not the news that I wanted to talk about, but gotta mention it, gotta talk about it regardless. But before we get into the first topic, let me just tell everybody, Lil Pan is in the building. Indeed. He's ready to go. He got my back. Hopefully y'all got my back as well. So make sure, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, everything for the YouTube channel. Follow your boy. So let's get into it. Let's just jump into it. Last night's game, Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics. Look, I don't remember the score, right? It doesn't even matter. The Heat won. And that is 2 games on the road in the Eastern Conference Finals for the Miami Heat to take a 2-0 lead. Indeed. Yes, Lil Pan. And did I think Miami was going to be able to win 2 games in Boston? No. Did I see them winning 1? Yes, that's very possible. But the way that they have won these 2 games has been, how shall I say? It's been indeed. Yeah, exactly, Lil Pan. Yeah, that's exactly what it's been for the Miami Heat, right? And Miami, look, they came in there and they took those wins, right? Boston has not been able to put something together from beginning to end. And we've seen this before in previous series that they had. For some reason, they just had these laps or dry spells, if you will, because they started off game 2 very well. They got hot, they put the pressure on, and I was like, oh, okay. This definitely seems like a Boston team. They were like, look, game 1 was not what is a norm, and we're gonna go ahead and put this thing to bed. And I thought they were gonna get up early and they were gonna stay up early often in this matchup last night, but it did not happen that way. Miami has been able to take whatever Boston has dished out and sustain it or survive it, and then put on their own run. And last night was just another example. Kudos. I said this on social media well before the game, actually, maybe a couple of days ago, but I was just talking about Eric Spoelstra and how we really need to start giving that man his credit and not just really kind of talking about, I mean, in the league they know, but just around in public general circles and everything. When you're talking about one of the top coaches, you need to be mentioning Eric Spoelstra, because what they're doing, and I'm staying with my pick, because that's what I had at the beginning of the season. I said that the Boston Celtics were going to get back to the finals, and it was all based off of their depth. Based off their depth is how they were going to get back to the finals. But Miami has shown true depth, and what they are doing, remember, they are doing this without Tyler Hero at all. He was not in the previous series against the Knicks, and he went out against, Atlanta, or it might have been a play-in, but they have not had Tyler Hero, right? And guys have stepped in: Caleb Martin, Vincent, Struess, or Struss, hopefully I'm saying his name right, but these guys have all stepped in to contribute. Duncan Robinson has, and so Miami has shown that true depth. They also have shown superstar Jimmy Butler is a problem, right? He is the kryptonite. And Boston, I don't understand why Boston has not double teamed Jimmy. And they've been asking the questions to the Celtics about double teaming them. Don't look like they want to do it. And I'm not saying that you have to change your whole game plan, right? You don't have to change your entire game plan. But in certain situations, it's just like we got to get the ball out of Jimmy's hand. Last night, I sat there and I watched, and I literally pointed at a spot on the TV, and I said, Jimmy is going to that spot. That is his spot where he starts up top, and then he goes as he's driving in, but he's trying to drift towards the baseline, if you will, back to the 3-point, right there in the paint, that little, little bit area there. But that's his sweet spot. And he was able to get to that spot no matter who was guarding him. So if it's one-on-one, because you threw Marcus Smart out there, you threw Grant Williams, which we're going to talk about Grant Williams in a second. Jason Tatum covered him. Everybody covered Jimmy, and he still was able to get to his spot. You just got to get the ball out of his hand. Just take a few possessions away from Jimmy and make somebody else score. And if they scored, then fine. Live with the results. But I don't think they can continue to go one-on-one, and that's going to have to change, going into game 3. That's just my opinion. Now, people talk about this whole Grant Williams thing, right? And I said, yes, Grant Williams, did he poke the bear? Absolutely. Indeed. Yes, Lopan, he poked the bear, and he wanted the bear. He got the bear, right? And the bear was Jimmy Butler. And I don't fault Grant Williams for going at Jimmy, because this is the Eastern Conference Finals, man. There is no, there is no tomorrow. There is no, next game or anything like that. Every single game counts. So I don't fault Grant Williams for going at Jimmy Butler. I think the biggest thing that happened here, though, is Grant Williams, and he was writing checks that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had to cash, right? Because Grant Williams is Grant Williams, right? He can play. He hits shots for him. He plays defense. He's the guy that does the dirty work. That's what they need. They need Grant Williams. So I'm not discounting Grant Williams at all. But with that, when it comes down to the fourth quarter, and this stat line that was put out on Jason Tatum, as far as like he didn't take any shots from the field in the fourth quarter, and then game 1, I think he took 3 and he missed all 3. You gotta have those points in the fourth quarter. Those are your guys, and they know that. Jason and Jaylen knows that. They know that. So it's just Grant got caught up in the situation, and when he did it, I was just like, yeah, you really don't. You don't want to do that, because Jimmy thrives off that. Now, I don't know if people remember Minnesota Jimmy, where he took some guys that sat on the bench and he went and gave the business to the starting squad when he was in Minnesota. That's the Jimmy that they got last night. Minnesota Jimmy, right? And that Jimmy, he was sitting somewhere minding his business, and then Grant Williams said something, and then we saw what happened, on it. So look, would Grant Williams do it all over again? I'm sure he would. He's a competitor. And to me, I loved it. It was healthy competition. It's just two guys going at it. Ain't going to be no animosity and all that stuff, and all that stuff. Healthy competition. I love it. But you can't poke the bear, Grant. You just can't poke the bear, because we see what happened. He started scoring, and they said, get him out of here. Get him off me. Jimmy said, get him off me, right? Y'all got to substitute this guy. And then Grant got sat down. So, Jimmy won that one, right? So, but going into game 3, I think it's a must win for both teams. More so, obviously, Boston than Miami, but they got to do something with about getting the ball out of Jimmy's hand, because he's been too much of a problem. He's been too much of a problem for everybody in the league. So it is what it is. Oh, here comes some disrespect. Look at that right there. Jay Evans said, I mean, he all right. Don't disrespect Jimmy like that, Jay. Don't do that. That man is a problem, and he a problem. But I think he said, go ahead. Said he won't do it in game 3. And I assume he's talking about Grant Williams. Yeah. The team probably said, look, man, don't do that. Don't do that. You can be competitive, but don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. So let's move on, from there. And another conference finals that's going on. It's the Western Conference, and we got a team that's 2-0 as well there. But it's not the road team. It actually was the home team. So the Denver Nuggets took a 2-0 lead over the LA Lakers, in which was a extraordinary fashion because Jamal Murray went off in the fourth quarter. Indeed. Yes, he did. And the Lakers was in this, as well. There was some, untimely executed plays, that the Lakers had. But here's the thing I'm going to say and put this in a nutshell for the Lakers and this Nugget series is that one of the problems, let's take the Joker out of it. Don't even mention the Joker. I don't even want to hear about the Joker because he's doing what we expected him to do. He's a problem, right? So everything on that is just trying to minimize what he can do. Indeed. Right, Lopan. So, but these transition plays where I'm seeing not only is Denver getting out on the break off of missed shots from the Lakers, I've seen it where the Lakers make shots and then Denver takes off and gets back down the court just to score a bucket themselves. You got to stop that there. My guy Fish, he was always harping on, how the Lakers, I think since the All-Star break, they've been the number one defensive team. You got to implement that number one defensive effort or defensive style on this. And I'm not saying that it's easy because this is what Denver's been doing to people all year. They've been getting up and down the court and pop and shot, pop out and shoot and everything and hitting the three. So I'm not saying it's an easy task, but you're not helping yourself by not stopping it. I mean, that's just bad to let you make a shot and then to let them get down court in less than 5 seconds or less and get to the basket. That's not a recipe. So I did see the Lakers make runs in here. It's still going to be the same nucleus. It's still going to be the same formula. It's going to be what LeBron and Anthony Davis, can provide, or that's going to be the standard. And then what you get from everybody else. Austin Reeves has been playing pretty well points wise. Hichirama, he's been playing well. I expect, a different result when they get back to LA. I hope the Lakers don't think that, and I don't think they do. Darvin Ham is not going to let them do that. Shouts out to Saginaw, Michigan. Yeah. But he's not going to let them just think, hey, we're back at home, so, we're good. But Denver did what they were supposed to do. They protected home court. They took they took those 2 games. They did what they needed to do. They were in tight battles at times, and they went on runs. And like I said, getting up and down the court, on the Lakers, pressing them, getting that I guess that speed transition play, for lack of a better term. They did what they were supposed to do, on there. So props to the Denver Nuggets. Now, I think for Denver, these 2 games, I think this is more of, they did it with Phoenix, but I think really with the Lakers, they want to win, but they're trying to prove a point. Because there's been question marks about the Denver Nuggets all season long. I had question marks. I'm not even going to, act like I didn't. It was more of, I didn't discount what they were doing in the regular season. It was more for me, what could they do? Could they replicate what they did in the regular season in the postseason? And so far they've done that, right? And the other thing that they've had that they didn't have, before was health. And Jamal Murray, he's went through all his injuries where he had the ACL injury and everything. He looks like he's good to go. And they have depth as well. They got Caldwell Pope. Caldwell Pope used to play for my Pistons. So, I like Caldwell Pope. Porter Jr. You got Aaron Gordon. You got Bruce Brown. You got guys after guys after guys after guys, on this team. So Denver is deep as well. I think what Denver needs to do, they continue to do what they've been doing. Press the issue, get up on the Lakers, get up and down, go on these runs that they've been going, and they could win this. But so far, everything has happened like it's supposed to. So I'm sticking to I'm waiting to see what happens in game 3. Denver protected home court. Now it's time for the Lakers to do the same thing. I could see this thing going to being up a tie 2-2. I just don't think the Lakers are just gonna, come in, get blown out or anything like that. I think it'll be a tight game going into game 3, but I do think the Lakers will get this win. So that'll be 2-2. We'll be all, knotted up on there. We'll be going crazy about that. Heat, Celtics, we'll see. We'll see. Lopan, you ready? You ready to talk about it? Indeed. Yeah, he's ready to talk about it. So, Ja Morant, right? So I haven't really gotten a chance to, come out. I've talked about it with people, but not, come out here publicly and talk about, the Ja Morant situation. First and foremost, the first time, with all the stuff that happened with Ja Morant, I was like, hey, the kid is young. He made a mistake. I really do think that he's realized, what he did and not going to make that mistake again. Well, looks like he made that mistake again. So here's what I'm going to focus on. I'm really just going to focus on the Ja situation. And there's been other stuff that's been put out there. I know about, Chris Kaman was brought up, and those are valid points that people are bringing up. So I'm not discounting what people are saying, but I want to focus on what it is right in front of us. And what it is right in front of us is that you have an individual, Ja Morant, who got in trouble, got suspended 8 games for, what did he do? He was on Instagram Live or one of the feeds. I think it was Instagram Live, but he was on social media. He went live and he showed a firearm, right? Now, NBA, they're a private company. They got their own set of rules that you have to go by, and that they have verbiage and wording that they can use. And that's what they did with Ja's situation. So now the conversation is, Ja, you can't do that again, right? We're going to give you these games. You can't do that again. Ja says, all right, I understand that. Can't do that again. My decision-making got to be, better. It's the same thing. You're on social media, you're online, and there's nothing wrong with being on social media. But you're on social media and the camera comes to you, and again, there's something in your hand, a firearm. So this is all that other stuff that we're talking about around the Ja situation and everything. That's for another day. But the facts, that's what I'm focusing on right now. What it is right now is that you have a young man who repeated the same thing that he got suspended for previously. And it's only been 2-3 months since that transpired. To me, that's what we need to focus on. And that's what Ja needs to really understand. And you at this point, you don't understand. You don't get it, or you choose not to get it. This is one of those things. So now the question is like, what is the NBA going to do, right? I know some people said a year, suspend him for a year. I'm not signing on to that. For a year. He definitely, I do believe he definitely going to get more than 8 games. I do believe that. I do think it'll be double digits. I think there'll probably be a 2 in front of it. But again, I'm just hoping that this really registers to this young man, because I think Nike took down, his shoes and everything. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to literally, I'm gonna do this. That's it. That's right there. One or 2 seconds impacted financially, impacted your employment, impacted your brand and everything, it's just not worth it. That's my biggest thing. It's just not worth it. And I'm hoping that he realized that. Because now the challenge is that you went out and you told everybody, you get it and you can't do this stuff, and then you do it again. Now people question your word. And that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing, for anybody. Because if someone questions, what you say, your word, it could be anything. You could be like, the sky is blue, and it could actually be blue. And people are like, man, he said that before. And so you run into, to those problems. So I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, we got to bury him or anything. I more than anything, whatever needs to be done for him to understand, for him to get that the world that you operate in now, it's no different than other worlds. It's just like if you're the world of the NBA, right? To operate in the world of the NBA, there's just certain things that you can't do, right? That you could do in other worlds. So if you want to be in that world, then you're probably going to have to give up the NBA. So that's just it. That's just it. Cut and dry, on it. So again, I hope the young man, because nothing, at least nobody has gotten hurt or anything like that. And that's the other thing. We don't want anybody getting hurt or something of that magnitude to where then it's like, oh, I get it, on it. So I'm just hoping he gets it this time. But yeah, he's gonna get some more games, and I just hope it registers. Let's just say that. All right, let's move on. The NBA lottery was announced, and I'm a little perturbed, Lopan.
Indeed.
Yeah, you too, right? Yeah. So I'm a little perturbed because I really thought my Pistons had a shot at getting number one. I really thought the Pistons had a good shot at getting number one, and it didn't happen, right? So, they got the 5th overall. So top 5, it was Pistons at 5, Houston at 4, Portland 3, Charlotte at 2, and the San Antonio Spurs getting the number 1 overall pick again for what is considered a generational talent that everyone is saying is who's going number 1, right? The kid from France, we know. Well, hopefully, let me say it. I hope I'm saying this name right. Wembanyama. Sorry. And I'm just like, you got David Robinson, okay. Then you had that one little, crazy season, and you ended up with Tim Duncan. And y'all been chilling for a little bit now since, Timmy retired. And then now you got this kid, right? So presumably you think that the San Antonio Spurs is going to draft this kid, which I think they will on it. So a lot of people's like, hey, he couldn't have went to a better, franchise and everything. Well, I do say this. Going to San Antonio is not, a horrible thing. You have an organization who has a formula or a recipe, for winning. You have a culture in which they, institute a winning culture. Now, they're still going to need, other pieces. They got some young talent on there. I guess my really thing is how long is Pop going to stick around? Because obviously he's not going to be around for this kid's entire, career. So how long does Pop, stay around? But what does this mean for the San Antonio Spurs and the NBA? It means that they get to market another foreign player, which the city is going to fall in love with this kid. I think he's going to fall in love, with the city as well. And we can start looking back at the San Antonio Spurs. We can start looking back at the San Antonio Spurs. They still got to, produce because the West is it's crazy. But that's another team that now we can add to the mix to say, you know what, we got to keep an eye, on the San Antonio Spurs. So, and the NBA is going to love it. They're in a great time zone as well. So, they West Coast, East Coast, and then even overseas, it's just going to be crazy. All the stuff that they're going to, put together with this kid there. So, I'm already putting together that he's going to be the number one overall pick. But, yeah, congratulations, San Antonio. Jeez, oh, peas. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Dang! I really thought the Pistons was going to get that. Oh, I was holding out hope. But who's to Charlotte? They'll have some talent, there. I guess they'll be adding with LaMelo Ball. Portland is interesting at 3 because, it seems like fans may want Dame out of there. I'm like, no, you keep Dame and then you get this to keep the draft pick, or use the draft pick to get, some other talent to trade for to get to partner with Dame. You do something like that, but whatever you're doing with it, Dame stays in Portland. Trust Dame. And Houston was at 4, so there's rumor about James Harden coming back and all that stuff. So even if he comes back, they'll have some young talent, so that'll be interesting. And then the Pistons at 5. Get a coach. Got to get a coach first, and then figure out what the identity is of the team. But again, congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs.
Indeed.
All right, so let me go here. Because we joke around a lot, but we're gonna be serious for a second. So yesterday, not yesterday, we lost great individual person, right? Who just happened to be one of the all-time great NFL players, running back Jim Brown, passed away yesterday. And look, we all, we all have an expiration date, on this. We just don't know, when it is. So with Jim Brown, yes, I will remember, all the stuff about, football with him. But then also, let's not forget, what he did off the field, right? And that was for black people. And then that was just, for young people. We know that Jim Brown has been in the middle of putting together truce between gangs and everything. He's been a civil rights leader. He's advocated for doing the right, all the right things and everything. And so, that is what, we want to remember him, for first. NFL player, been in some iconic movies. One of my favorite movies he's been in was Any Given Sunday. The all-time line of Coach, you're gonna get a heart attack. I don't get them, I give them. And he said some other words to it. And so it was, it's a lot of stuff, that came from that. So, did some good things, in the world. So Jim Brown done, but definitely he won't be, forgotten. So now we're going to get out of here with the Big L Award, right? Big Loser Award. Someone did something loserish, and we got to point out who it is. So, Lopan, go ahead, kick it. This is the Big L Award.
And you are one pathetic loser.
Loser.
Let's go.
We're gonna see the best collection of losers this park's seen for many a year.
You made me feel like a loser. Loser.
La loser.
Le who? The her.
All right. So, the Big L Award, like I said, the Big Loser Award, where sometimes we just do loserous things in life, and we got to take an L for it. I've done it. Lopan has done it.
Indeed.
Yeah, you've done it plenty of times, Lopan. But the Big L Award is going out to. I talked about the San Antonio Spurs getting the first overall pick, right? And so we already know who they were drafting at this point. And when it was announced you know, Bedlam goes. Everything goes crazy, right? Everything goes crazy. The Big L Award is going out to whoever works at the San Antonio Spurs sales team that didn't watch the lottery or did not know that they got the number 1 overall pick and either was off that day or got to work late that day because sales were booming. Everybody was calling in, getting season tickets. Everybody's calling in, getting information. People downloading the app. Everything's going crazy. It's like the Players Club. The green light was going off.
Indeed.
Yes, Lopez. It was off. There's money out there to be made. Go get it. Right? And they went, and there is somebody, I know there is somebody that did not watch it, or they woke up late and they got to work and they are already 15 sales down because everybody just in there just grabbing money and just getting off. Just, oh, you want a season ticket? You want a season ticket? You want a season ticket? Yes, let's all get this season ticket. And there's somebody that walked in and just said, hey, what's going on in here? Why everybody, you know, and everybody with the $1 million Ted DiBiase dance, money. People probably calling their lady or something like, go ahead, schedule that trip, because when I get that check, we're going to be able to do it. So there is someone that woke up late, didn't get there, missed out, and didn't get all the sales, or had that day off and didn't go in on the initial date. So for whoever it was that didn't get to work on time or just get there the day after the San Antonio Spurs got the number 1 overall pick, you got to take this big L.
See? Another loser.
Indeed as well, Lopez. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another Wait a Minute show in the books, man. I changed up my background a little bit. And then like chili, I got the chili hat on. Yeah, got that from my sister. She went there, picked it up for your boy, man. So hope you like the new background. Maybe I'll change it up, you know, from time to time. We are talking about basketball, but everyone have a good rest of your day. Go out there, be productive, do something that'll make you smile, right? So we'll get out of here. We'll talk about some more Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals, and all that other stuff that's going on in the sports world. So for your man, Jelani J.B. Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show, I'll holler at y'all later. 2 things as always. Stay positive and push forward. Low pen. Let's go.